Let me tell you something. Fear of failure, it's something that cripples so many people, keeps them from reaching their potential, from stepping into the greatness they were born for. We all feel it. It doesn't matter if you're rich, poor, successful, struggling, we all experience fear of failure at some point. But what separates those who succeed from those who don't is how they deal with that fear. You can't let it control you. You can't let it dictate your life. You've got to understand that failure is not the enemy. It's not something to be afraid of. In fact, failure is your greatest teacher. Think about it. Every successful person you admire has failed at some point. They didn't succeed because they never failed. They succeeded because they pushed through the failure, they learned from it, and they kept going. The fear of failure is really just the fear of learning, of growing, of stepping into the unknown. But that's where life happens. That's where growth happens. That's where you become more than you ever thought possible. If you never fail, you're not trying hard enough. If you're playing it safe, you're limiting yourself. You've got to shift your mindset. Instead of thinking about failure as something to be ashamed of, something that defines you, start thinking about failure as a stepping stone to success. Failure is inevitable on the path to success. It's part of the process. It's where you learn what works and what doesn't. It's where you gain the skills, the insights, the resilience you need to handle the next level. If you avoid failure, you're also avoiding success. You're avoiding the growth that comes from pushing yourself beyond your comfort zone. Now let's talk about the comfort zone for a second. The comfort zone is where dreams go to die. It's that place where everything feels safe, where you're not challenged, where you're not growing. But staying in your comfort zone means you're playing small. It means you're letting fear dictate your actions. And if fear is dictating your actions, you're not in control of your life. You've handed over the reins to something that isn't real. Fear of failure is just an illusion. It's a story you're telling yourself about what might happen if things don't go the way you planned. But let me ask you something. What if things go better than you planned? What if you succeed beyond your wildest dreams? You see, fear is focusing on the worst case scenario. But why not focus on the best case scenario? Why not focus on the best case scenario? Why not focus on what could go right instead of what could go wrong? And even if things do go wrong, guess what? You're still standing, you're still breathing, you're still capable of getting up and trying again. That's the thing about failure. It doesn't mean the end. It just means you found another way that doesn't work. So you try again, you adjust, you adapt, and you keep moving forward. You're stronger than you think. You're more capable than you give yourself credit for. The only thing holding you back is the belief that failure defines you, that it's final. It's not final, it's just feedback. So if you're afraid of failing, ask yourself why. What are you really afraid of? Are you afraid of what people will think? Are you afraid of looking foolish? Are you afraid of disappointing yourself? Let me tell you something, those things don't matter. What matters is how you show up in the face of fear. What matters is that you're willing to try, willing to put yourself out there, willing to fail if that's what it takes to grow. The fear of failure is nothing compared to the regret of never trying. That's the real failure. The failure of not even giving yourself a chance. The failure of staying stuck in a life you don't want because you're too afraid to go after the life you do want. That's the kind of failure that eats at you. The kind of failure that keeps you up at night wondering what could have been. Don't let that be your story. You've got to reframe the way you think about failure. It's not a reflection of your worth. It's not a reflection of your ability. It's simply part of the journey. And if you're willing to embrace it, to learn from it, to grow through it, there's nothing you can't accomplish. Fear is just a signal. It's a signal that you're about to step into something bigger than yourself. It's a signal that you're on the edge of a breakthrough. And that's exciting. That's where the magic happens. That's where you start living at a higher level. When you feel fear, don't shrink back. Step into it. Lean into it. Because on the other side of fear is freedom. Freedom from the limitations you've placed on yourself. Freedom from the small, safe life you've been living. Freedom to be the person you were born to be. I'm telling you right now, you are capable of so much more than you realize. The only thing standing between you and the life you want is your fear of failure. And once you realize that failure is just part of the process, it loses its power over you. It no longer controls you. You're free to take risks, to try new things, to go after what you really want without worrying about the outcome. So what if you fail? So what? Get up and try again. Keep going, keep pushing, keep striving. Because every time you fail, you're one step closer to success. Every time you fail, you're learning something valuable. You're becoming stronger, smarter, more resilient. And that's what it takes to achieve your dreams. You've got to be willing to fail if you want to succeed. You've got to be willing to fall down and get back up. You've got to be willing to face your fear head on and say, I'm not letting this stop me. I'm not letting this define me. I'm not letting this control my life. So today I challenge you to shift your mindset. Stop seeing failure as something to avoid and start seeing it as part of your journey to greatness. Stop letting fear hold you back and start using it as fuel to move forward. You are powerful beyond measure. You are capable of achieving anything you set your mind to. But you've got to be willing to fail in order to succeed. Don't let fear of failure rob you of your dreams. Don't let it keep you stuck in a life that doesn't fulfill you. You deserve more. You are worth more. And you have everything within you to make it happen. It's time to step up, take control, and go after the life you were meant to live. Fear of failure? Bring it on. You're stronger than that. You're bigger than that. You are unstoppable. And if this message resonates with you, if you're ready to conquer your fear of failure and step into your greatness, make sure to subscribe to this channel for more motivational content. Together, we'll break through those barriers, overcome those fears, and create a life that's truly extraordinary. Let's make it happen.